some of your comments as well. All right, Paul.
All right, let's go to Tyler in Cincinnati on the BetUS caller line. Thanks for your call.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Great. Thank you.
So I had a quick question, and this is just me kind of spitballing, thinking about all the open coaching jobs. What do you guys think about Tom Herman possibly going to TCU? Is it possible? Because I think it could be. I mean, he has some roots in Texas, and, yeah, he didn't do the best job in Austin, but I feel like Tom Herman would thrive in a kind of a smaller athletic department like TCU. Not that TCU is small, but I just kind of feel like he'll probably have a better time there, if that makes any sense to you guys at all.
Well, while I do think that, and Tyler, I think that that's valid, and that Tom Herman, the next place he goes to, like, he was really successful at Houston, but he still had some of the same things. The guys that, on the Houston radio said something he didn't agree with, and he called into the show mad about him when he shouldn't care. It wasn't like they were spreading lies. It's just an opinion he didn't care for. And I think, I don't know, I think it might be a good fit for Tom Herman at TCU, except for the fact that most of the time, if you go from one personality type, you maybe change up a little bit, and they just got rid of a guy who's super high-strung and paranoid. I don't know if you want to go back down that road.
Yeah, I mean, I brought up Tom Herman the other day, and hearing all these coaching carousel rumors, I was like, where's this guy being mentioned? Because why not? I mean, you're digging around for coaching names, and there's obviously too many jobs for candidates that are worthy, that are just like the up-and-comers. I mean, there's not 12, 13, 14 up-and-comers that are ready to fill these roles. So you're going to have some retread somewhere, and that's why Herman, being off at the NFL, maybe maturing a little bit and getting his act together, not being as kind of immature as he was while at Texas. He seemed like a guy that would make sense to come back to the college game. TCU, I think, is a little bit too big of a step to return to, though. I think that they're locked in on Sonny Dykes, it appears. And if that doesn't work out, although there's no reason to believe that it won't really, because we're not hearing too much pushback as far as that goes. It's just really quiet, actually. If that doesn't work out, I mean, they have to pivot and go a different direction. Maybe that would open the door, but I don't think he would be, their first choice. For part of the reason that Paul mentioned, I don't think the fan base would be real receptive to that either. I know I wouldn't be if I was a TCU fan. It would feel like too much of a retread. I don't know how much he fits there. You know what I mean? I don't know how the pairing would work. Maybe it would work great. I don't know. But, I mean, he's a nice idea for somebody somewhere, but I just don't think TCU would be the right one.
I don't know. It's interesting. He was the hot guy.
It's a good idea. I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Justin Fuente was the hot coordinator, right? And then all of a sudden he's out. And you got to be careful about grabbing these coordinators just because they're on teams that are successful and you think it's them. Right now, UT's got Sarkisian. He's been a head coach before, so he's got that. It wasn't a great run where he's been at Washington or USC. He got a job because he was the offensive coordinator, hell of an offensive coordinator for the best team in the country. And you see these hot coordinators, like you're Alex Grinch, or you might hear one day soon Jeff Grimes or whoever it is. And sometimes you're just trying to hit lightning in a bottle. I think Herman could be a head coach. There's no question. He's been a head coach. He was pretty good at Houston. But I wonder if now that's where he wants to get back in the Big 12, or if he wants to go somewhere else away from the state of Texas.
Well, Washington's a job. There's at least some articles, some buzz out there about him in Washington potentially. I think it's a matter of time before he gets back into a head coaching role somewhere. Is it this quickly at a big job? I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, he's a name that floating out you got to pay attention to and think about a little bit. So, yeah, I'd say low percentage chance he would end up at TCU. But, hey, if Sonny Dykes ends up sticking around in Dallas, then who knows? That might be the direction they go.
Yeah, and if you're a running back at any school that Tom Herman goes to,
well, yeah,
you may want to transfer.
Yeah, probably.
He'll forget
All right.
about you.
Yeah, I agree. 254-339-1122 on the chat room from a Frog fan. No.
See?
No is what he said. He did not want. Was that the text line, actually? It might have been the text line, right? Let's see here. Yeah, that was from the Steve Frog fan. No, with like 9 O's.
Yeah,
on Herman, let's go with Sonny Dykes.
After Gary Patterson and what he did, and as long as he was there, I mean, this is a really important hire. And if you were to turn around and hire Tom Herman after dumping Gary Patterson, I just don't think your fan base would sit well with that at all. So, yeah, I think it's probably Sonny Dykes or bust, like we've been saying. But again, if they have to pivot, if something were to happen, I mean, I don't know what direction that would send them, but you would think that the list couldn't be too long for some. I mean, not even just TCU specifically, but for some of the teams that they strike out. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you start having to look at the Tom Hermans of the world, and yeah, he'll be an interesting guy to kind of see where his career trajectory takes him after this little stint in the NFL.
Well, and what I said on running backs. Now, you don't do this to placate one player, but Zach Evans is your best player on the TCU roster.
No,
correct?
he's not.
Well,
no, he's not. I don't think so. I don't think he's the best player on the roster. I think he is one of the most overrated players in college football. I think he is a tremendous talent, but I think there's been some off the field stuff where he's just not. I'm not saying he's a bad kid by any means because I don't know him, but there's always like a little something bubbling there. You know what I mean? It's like he was playing this year, and the whole time there was rumors about transfers and him being at practice or cleaning out his locker or whatever. There's that, and I think you could deal with that because there's some kids that sort of, there's just issues, and that's fine. So not saying he's a bad seed at all, but there's little things like that, and then you combine it with the fact that their best win all year took place without him. Mm-hmm. He's missed half the season. He's been, quite frankly, irrelevant to them this year.
Well, there was an argument. It was a discussion, and Craig knows this, on the Earl Campbell-Tyler Rose Award on the semifinalists, and I didn't think Zach Evans should be a part of the list.
No, absolutely not.
He has missed a lot of games. He hadn't played enough. His numbers, at times, he's been spectacular, but I mean, 1 or 2 games. It's the same thing what we said, and it's been released about Marvin Mims. His game against Texas alone was phenomenal. He's had like 2 games. Last week he had 2 or 3 catches and has just disappeared with 28 catches, 20 yards a pop, 4 touchdowns, and that's kind of just being real. As good as he seems to be, he has not really had much of a year as well. So and the quarterback situation might have had something to do with that.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. So Zach Evans, I think Quentin Johnston's the best player offensively for TCU. If anything, Zach Evans is right there, just based on God-given talent, but he's done nothing this year and hasn't really been a part of that team or their biggest wins. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get on a tangent on him, but we did. So,
yeah. All right, 254-339-1122. One comment.